Okay, hello, good day everyone. So our topic for today will be about acute kidney injury, also referred to as acute renal failure. So let's first start by defining what is AKI or ARF. So pag sinabi nating acute, ano bang ibig sabihin ng acute in the first place? So this means biglaan. Okay, sudden. So when you say AKI or ARF, this is the sudden loss or decrease of kidney function. Now, what are the different causes of AKI? Okay, AKI causes are actually categorized into three. So you have your pre-renal causes, intrarenal causes, and post-renal causes. So let's first talk about the pre-renal causes of AKI. So when you say pre, ano bang ibig sabihin ng pre? Before, okay, or bago. So when you say pre-renal causes, these are actually the things that lead to AKI before. Okay, before the blood reaches the kidney. So, ibig sabihin, before the blood reaches the kidney. So, pag sinabi nating pre-renal, bago si kidney. Okay, so basically, pre-renal causes, okay, point out to the things that lead to AKI before the blood reaches the kidney. So, in pre-renal, primarily, the problem here is about perfusion. Okay, when you say perfusion, yun yung pagpunta or pagsupply ng blood vessels natin ng dugo into the different tissues or organs of the body. Okay, so primarily, excuse me, ang problema natin sa pre-renal is perfusion before the blood reaches the kidney. So what are primary examples of the pre-renal causes? Number one, you have myocardial infarction. Okay, if the patient has a history of myocardial infarction. Bakit? Ano bang nangyayari sa MI? 'Di ba nagkakaroon ng damage okay sa muscle ng heart. Okay, ngayon, pag merong damage, okay, or injury sa heart muscle, sa tingin ninyo masusustain pa ba ng heart okay yung force ng contraction na dati niyang binibigay? Hindi. Okay, so there could be a problem with the amount of blood that the heart pumps out into the body. At kung kokonti or nagde-decrease ang dugo na napapump out, okay, ng heart into the body, this could also lead to decreased perfusion into the kidney. Ibig sabihin, kokonti yung dugo na pumupunta sa kidney. Okay? So what happens there, 'di ba? Kapag kulang ang dugo na pumupunta sa tissues or sa organs, what happens to the cells of that tissue or that organ? Na de-deprive sila ng oxygen. And what eventually happens to these cells na nade-deprive ng oxygen? Pwede silang mag-sustain ng injury. Okay, pwedeng ma-injure yung cells na yan if they have decreased oxygenation. Okay, so similarly, if your patient has history of atherosclerosis. Okay, again, ano bang atherosclerosis? Merong bumabara sa blood vessels na plaque, okay, or fatty build-up along with other substances na dumidikit sa wall kaya siya sumisikip. So again, kumukonti ang perfusion. What else? If your patient has or sustains burns, especially major burns. Bakit? Di ba kapag burns, meron tayong tinatawag na fluid shifting. Ibig sabihin, yung fluids sa loob ng blood vessel natin, possible na lumabas sila sa blood vessel papunta sa interstitial spaces. Okay, so ibig sabihin, kukonti na lang yung blood na nagsisirculate sa blood vessels. Again, pwedeng kumonte ang perfusion sa kidney. What else? Shock. Okay, particularly hypovolemic shock. Okay, but shock in general. Again, pag shock, ano bang ibig sabihin ng shock? There is decreased circulating blood in the blood vessels. Okay, so again, pwedeng kumonte ang perfusion ng dugo papunta sa kidneys. Okay, so pag sinabi nating pre-renal, bago pa makarating yung dugo sa kidney. So the problem is before the kidney. Okay, so usually the problem is with perfusion. Now, let's proceed to your intrarenal. Pag sinabi nating intra, within, tama? We are referring to the kidney itself. Ibig sabihin, when you say intrarenal causes, the problem is the kidney itself. Okay, so si kidney mismo ang tamado. So what are examples, okay, of intrarenal causes? Number one, you have trauma. Of course, for example, okay, wag naman sana, but just for the sake of examples, pag may isang tao, halimbawa, okay, napaaway sila at merong humampas sa tagiliran nila or sa flank or sa lower back, possible ba itong mag-cause ng damage sa kidney? Yes. Biglaan ba yon? Yes. In-expect ba niyang ahampasin siya sa tagiliran? Syempre hindi. Okay, so acute kidney injury. Okay, trauma. Okay, to the part or to the kidney. Pwede siyang magkaroon ng sudden loss of kidney function. What else? Infection. Like what? Anong klaseng infection? You have glomerulo. Okay, wait, I'm gonna try this again. As I was saying, you have glomerulonephritis or the inflammation of the nephrons themselves. Okay, yung mismong kidney or yung tinatawag nating glomerulus. And your glomerulus are actually the ones that are doing the filtration and they are found inside of the kidney. Okay, so when you say glomerulonephritis, ibig sabihin tamado or inflamed yung mismong glomerulus or yung ating nephrons. And the nephrons are the basic functional units of the kidney. Ibig sabihin sila yung trabahador ng kidney. What else? You have kidney stones or renal stones, or in medical terms, we refer to it as your nephrolithiasis. Ibig sabihin, kidney stones or renal stones. So these are examples of your intrarenal causes. Ibig sabihin, the problem is the kidney itself. Okay, next we have your post-renal. Okay, ito yung last na category natin. You have post-renal. Okay, ano bang ibig sabihin ng post? It means after. Okay, so when you say post-renal, this is after. Okay, after fluids exit the kidney. Okay? So, after. Kung si pre, okay, is before the blood reaches the kidney. Pag intra, si kidney mismo ang may problema. Pag post naman, ang problema dyan is after the kidney. Okay? Primarily, ang problema naman dito is excretion. Okay? Excretion. Ibig sabihin, yung paglabas na ng ihi. That is your post-renal causes. What are examples, okay, of post-renal causes? Of course, number one, you have stones. Okay, you have your urolithiasis. Okay, urolithiasis. Pag merong stones sa mismong ureter ng patient. Okay, you have urolithiasis. Stones, merong bara. Okay, doon sa mismong tubo na dinadaanan ng ihi. So, what will happen to that ihi or that urine? Hindi siya mailalabas. Okay, pwede siyang mag-backflow or pwede siyang mag-accumulate or ma-overwhelm si kidney. Okay, kasi nga, hindi na ilalabas yung urine. Okay, so urolithiasis. What else? Okay, neurological problems. Neurological problems. What do we mean by neurological problems? Primarily nito is sa bladder. Okay, sa bladder. Your bladder serves as the primary or I should say temporary storage of urine. Tama? Doon nag-iipon ng ihi bago magkaroon ng urge. Now, when you say neurological problems, usually the problem here is with the urge to urinate or the control of urination itself. Okay, primarily si bladder. Ano bang example nito? Mga patient na meron spinal cord injury. Okay? Kasi pag tinamaan yung mga nerves na nagko-control, okay, sa bladder, pwedeng hindi na makontrol ni patient ang bladder. Okay? Magkaroon ng problema sa pag-ihi. Okay? So, what else? You have myasthenia gravis, okay, multiple sclerosis, or Guillain-Barré syndrome. Okay? Yung mga sakit natin na nagkakaroon ang patient ng problema sa control of their muscles or their nerves or okay, yung mismong control ng kanilang bladder or their urination. Okay, so ito yung mga examples ng post-renal causes. Basta yung mga problema, okay, or causes that prevent, okay, or hinder the excretion of urine. Okay, again, pag pre-renal, primarily perfusion before the blood reaches the kidney. Okay, intra-kidney mismo. Post is after the kidney. Okay, now, what are the different diagnostic procedures? Okay, in your acute kidney injury. Okay, dun muna tayo sa mga pinaka-importante. Of course, you have your renal function test. Okay, your renal function test, Okay, sama-sama na yan. Okay, of course, you have your urine collection. What type of urine collection is used in renal function test? You have your 24-hour urine collection. Okay, this could be a separate discussion, yung urine collection natin. But for 24-hour urine collection, ibig sabihin nito, yung ihi ng patient for 24 hours, it is collected and tested. Okay, ano ba yung mga under dito? You have your BUN or blood urea nitrogen. Okay, or the amount of urea in the blood. Okay, ano bang ibig sabihin ng urea? Okay, saan ba nanggagaling ang urea? Urea comes from the breakdown of protein in the liver. Specifically, ano yun? It's your ammonia, tama? Ang trabaho ni liver, dapat si ammonia, i-convert niya into urea. At yung urea na yun, i-excrete or ilalabas ng kidney. Okay, so ibig sabihin, okay, urea, BUN is the amount of urea that is remaining in the blood. Okay, you have serum creatinine. Okay, this is the amount of creatinine in the patient's blood. Okay, what is creatinine? Creatinine is the product, okay, of the breakdown of muscle tissues. Okay, muscle tissues or protein. Okay, protein breakdown. Ngayon guys, between BUN and creatinine, okay, mas reliable si creatinine. Bakit? Si BUN kasi meron na siyang influence ng trabaho ni liver. As opposed to your creatinine, creatinine is solely filtered by the kidney. Okay? Si kidney lang po ang nagfi-filter kay creatinine. Okay? Ibig sabihin, hindi si liver, hindi ang lymphatic system, hindi ang GI system mo, si kidney lang. So, creatinine is loyal to the kidney. What else? Creatinine is not reabsorbed by the kidney. Ibig sabihin, once na filter out ni kidney ang creatinine, hindi na yan babalik ulit sa katawan. Okay, so it is not reabsorbed. Okay, serum creatinine. Next, you have creatinine clearance. Okay, when you say creatinine clearance, okay, this is basically testing, okay, yung efficiency ng kidney na i-clear or tanggalin ang creatinine sa dugo. Okay, so magkaiba sila. When you say serum creatinine, the amount of creatinine in the patient's blood. When you say creatinine clearance, the efficiency of the kidney to clear creatinine from the blood. So basically, chinecheck dito yung amount of blood, okay, that comes from the kidney that is free of creatinine. Walang creatinine, okay? And then, your creatinine clearance is actually used to measure yung tinatawag nating GFR. What is GFR? You have your glomerular filtration rate. Okay, so what is glomerular filtration rate or GFR? This is the amount of blood that is filtered by the kidney. Okay, every unit measurement. Pero ang ginagamit natin dito is per minute. Okay, so basically GFR is the amount of blood that is filtered by the kidney per minute. Okay guys, GFR actually varies. Hindi siya standard na sa lahat ng tao pare-pareho ang GFR. GFR is actually measured using yung creatinine clearance natin at kino-compare siya sa age at sa weight ng tao. Ibig sabihin, yung bata, for example, na 4 feet at yung adult na 6 feet, syempre magkaiba sila ng laki ng katawan, magkaiba sila ng age, magkaiba sila ng gender. Okay, so ibig sabihin, magkaiba rin yung basis natin for comparing their GFR. Okay, so basically, kino-compare siya dun sa body composition. Okay, yung size ng tao, yung weight nila, yung gender, and yung age. Okay, so these are your diagnostic tests na primary. What else? Pwedeng gumamit ng renal ultrasound. Okay, ibig sabihin, renal ultrasound, non-invasive imaging of, excuse me, I keep burping. Okay, this is the non-invasive imaging of the kidney. And of course, you have your renal angiography. Okay, Pag sinabi nating angiography, again, this is your specialized X-ray procedure. Okay, X-ray siya, ang pagkakaiba is gumagamit tayo ng contrast dye. Okay, nag-introduce tayo ng contrast dye sa blood vessel ng patient to basically provide better visualization. Parang kinukulayan po ng puti yung blood vessel ni patient kasi pag tinignan natin ang X-ray image, di ba black and white? Okay, so yung mga nakulayan ng contrast dye, they appear more pronounced or emphasized in an X-ray image. Okay, so we have, ito yung mga primary natin na diagnostic procedures. Now, let's proceed to the different manifestations of AKI or manifestations. Okay? What are the different manifestations of AKI or ARF? Now, your manifestations actually vary depending on what stage. Okay? So, merong stages po ang acute kidney injury. So, what are the stages of AKI? The first stage is referred to as the initiation stage. Ano bang ibig sabihin pag sinabi nating initiate? Pag sinabi nating initiate, this basically means start. Okay, so the initiation stage is characterized by the appearance of the cause. Okay, kung ano man yung nag-cause, okay, ng AKI. Appearance of the cause until before appearance of signs and symptoms. Okay? So, basically, initiation stage is yung pag-start. Kung ano yung nag-start ng AKI. So, in here, wala pa tayong masyado nakikitang manifestations kasi before the appearance of signs and symptoms. So, dito is, kung halimbawa si patient, nagkaroon siya ng glomerulonephritis, okay, that is the initiation stage. Yung nag-initiate or nag-start nung sakit. That is initiation stage. Now, what is the next stage? Pag nagkaroon na ng appearance of signs and symptoms, ano na ang tawag natin sa stage na yan? This is referred to as the oliguric stage. What do we mean by oliguria? Okay, ibig sabihin nito, there is already decreased urination. Oliguria. Okay, what is the normal? Okay, urine output supposedly. Ang normal urine output, it should be 30 to 60 ml per hour. Tama? But when you say oliguria, yung patient natin less than 30 ml ang urine nila per hour. So, oliguric stage. Dito na lumalabas yung signs and symptoms. Okay. Para maisa-isa natin yung signs and symptoms ng AKI, balikan natin. Ano ba yung primary na function ng kidney? Number one, of course, this is to filter the blood from waste products. Tama? Tinatanggal ng kidney natin yung mga dumi sa dugo natin na hindi na kailangan. Okay? So, it is used for filtration of the blood. What else? Your kidney functions in maintaining, okay, the fluid and electrolyte balance or fluid and electrolyte levels of the body. Tama? Pag sa fluids, pag sobrang fluid sa loob ng katawan, anong ginagawa ng kidney? Nag-i-increase ang urination. Ibig sabihin, nilalabas ng kidney yung excess na fluids. Pag naman kulang ang fluid sa loob ng katawan, si kidney, kinukontihan niya ang ihi. Okay, so pine-preserve niya naman yung fluid sa loob ng katawan. Similarly to your electrolytes, pag sobra yung electrolytes, pwedeng ilabas ni kidney yung sobra. Pag naman kulang yung electrolytes, pine-preserve or nire-reabsorb ng kidney yung electrolytes na yan. So now, let's go to the different manifestations during oliguric stage. So dito, nagkakaroon na ng decreased GFR or decreased glomerular filtration rate. Ano ba ang normal na GFR? It should be greater than 90 ml per minute. Okay, dapat more than 90 ml per minute ang GFR ng patient. But in the oliguric stage, nagiging less than 90 ml per minute ang kanilang GFR. Ibig sabihin, kumukonti yung amount, okay, ng blood na nafi-filter ng kidney. So, pag konti ang blood na finifilter ng kidneys, naturally, okay, kukonti din ang kanilang urination. Okay, hindi masyadong nakakaihi ang pasyente. Okay, now, what if si patient, okay, hindi siya nakakaihi masyado? Ibig sabihin, yung fluid hindi na ilalabas sa katawan. Ano kaya yung manifestation na pwede nating makita sa patient na hindi na ilalabas ang fluid? You have edema. The patient could manifest or could show edema. Okay, since nako-conserve yung fluid sa loob ng katawan. So, pag madami ang fluid sa loob ng katawan, what happens to your patient's blood pressure? Pwede silang magkaroon ng increased BP or hypertension. Kasi yung fluid masyadong marami sa loob ng katawan. Okay, so pwedeng tumaas ang BP. Ngayon, syempre, pag si patient may edema, meron din silang weight gain. Si patient bumibigat. Bakit? Yung fluid na dapat nilalabas sa katawan, hindi na ilalabas. So, naiipon siya ng naiipon sa loob ng katawan. So, nagkakaroon sila ng weight gain. Okay, so, based from these 4 manifestations or 3 manifestations, your decreased urination, edema, and weight gain, what is your primary nursing diagnosis? You have fluid volume excess or fluid volume overload. Okay, ito ang primary nursing diagnosis natin. Sobra ang fluid sa loob ng katawan ni patient. Okay, now, okay, we've already talked about the fluid. Okay, ngayon, fluid pa lang yon. Sabi natin, your kidney is also responsible for filtration of waste. Ano ba yung mga waste na yan? At anong nangyayari pag hindi siya na-filter ng kidney? Example ng waste na yan, BUN. Okay? Tumataas ang urea sa dugo ng patient. Kasi nga, hindi siya na-filter. Hindi siya nailalabas ng kidney. What else? Increased serum creatinine. Tumataas din ang creatinine ng patient. Okay, let's go back. Ano bang normal dapat na value ng BUN? Actually, magkakaiba to depending upon resources. So, kunin na lang natin yung lower at upper limit nila. It should be 6 to 20 mg per DL. Okay, next you have serum creatinine. Normal dito, it should be 0.6 to 1.2. Sa iba, 0.6 to 1.3. Okay, yan ang normal dapat na serum creatinine. So, sa taong nasa oliguric stage, since hindi siya na-filter ng kidney, hindi siya nailalabas ng kidney, tumataas ang BUN, tumataas ang creatinine. Okay, so, ito yung mga example ng wastes. Ngayon, what other manifestations can we see? Meron tayong tinatawag na azotemia. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng azotemia? This is the accumulation of waste in the blood. Okay? Dumadami yung dumi. Okay, sa dugo kasi nga hindi siya na-filter. Hindi siya nailalabas. Primarily, urea. Okay, primarily urea. Okay, so tumataas ang kanilang BUN, tumataas ang serum creatinine at nagkakaroon sila ng tinatawag nating azotemia. Okay, what else? Your patient could have changes in mental status. Bakit? Your patient could have changes in mental status. Bakit? Imagine mo, marumi yung dugo ng pasyente at yung dumi na yan or yung basurang yan, ilagay natin sa utak. Hindi kaya maapektuhan or hindi kaya may irritate ang tissues ng brain? May irritate. So, your patient could manifest changes in mental status. Like what? Your patient could be restless, they could be irritable, they could be agitated, or pwedeng pabaliktad. Pwede silang lethargic, okay, pwedeng disoriented. Kasi syempre, marumi yung dugo eh. Okay? So, nasa-circulate siya sa brain. Okay? So, these are examples. Ito yung mga manifestations pag hindi na ilalabas ang waste from the body. What else? Pag kaya naiipon ang dumi, okay, or ang mga substance, pag nagiging concentrated ang dugo, ano kaya ang mangyayari sa kanilang ABG? Okay, they will have metabolic acidosis. Okay, nagiging acidic ang dugo nila because of course, okay, yung dami ng waste. Okay, nagiging concentrated ng dumi yung dugo ng patient. Okay, so you have metabolic acidosis. Now, tapos na tayo sa fluid, tapos na tayo sa waste. Now, let's go to your electrolytes. Of course, your patient would have electrolyte imbalances. Okay, si patient pwedeng magkaroon ng electrolyte imbalances. Ano yung electrolyte imbalances nila? They will have high potassium or your hyperkalemia. Kasi hindi mailabas ng kidneys. And you have high phosphorus or your phosphatemia or phosphatemia. Phosphorus. Okay, or your phosphatemia. Okay, mataas ang phosphorus sa dugo. And ano ang bababa? You have low sodium and low calcium. Bakit mababa si sodium? Ano ulit yung term na ginagamit natin pag nag-a-appear na mababa ang sodium ng patient dahil lunod ang katawan nila sa fluid? This is referred to as your delusional hyponatremia. Ibig sabihin, dahil sa dami ng fluid sa loob ng katawan ni patient, okay, nagkakaroon siya ng false na hyponatremia. Kasi, kokonti or normal yung amount ng kanyang sodium pero yung tubig sobrang dami. Imagine mo na lang, isang kutsara ng juice nilagyan mo ng isang buong galon ng tubig. Okay, that is delusional hyponatremia. Kung dapat, normally, yung isang pack ng juice, pang 1 litro siya. Ngayon, ang ginawa dito, yung isang pack, ginamit siya pang 1 galon. Okay, yung 15 liters na tubig. Okay, so that is delusional hyponatremia. And now you have hypocalcemia. Bakit magkakaroon ng hypocalcemia si patient? It's because of high phosphorus. Okay? Si phosphorus kasi guys, nagbabind siya kay calcium para yang si Pac-Man. Okay? Kukuha ng calcium. So the more phosphorus there is, the more nakukuha siya ng calcium. Phosphorus, kukuha ng calcium, magbabind sa calcium, kaya kumukonti ang calcium. Okay, now, what is the danger of hyperkalemia? Pwedeng si patient magkaroon ng cardiac dysrhythmias or cardiac arrhythmias. Okay? Pwedeng maging abnormal ang rhythm ng heart ng patient. Bakit? Potassium is responsible or used in muscle contraction. May muscle ba sa heart? Yes or no? It's your myocardium. Okay, so kapag may hyperkalemia, since si potassium, ginagamit siya para mag-contract ang heart, pag mataas si potassium, magkakaroon ng abnormality doon sa pag-contract ng heart. Okay, and then you have si sodium, si phosphorus of course, pwede siyang mag-lead to hypocalcemia. And you have delusional delusional hyponatremia. Okay, ang delikado dyan pag nagkaroon ng mental status changes. Bakit? Nagkakaroon na ng abnormality sa fluids, okay, ng pasyente. Because again, where sodium goes, water follows. Okay? Especially sa brain. Okay, pwedeng mag-swell ang brain dahil sa abnormality ng movement ng fluids. Okay, and then lastly, you have hypocalcemia. Ano yung nakikita natin or ano yung hallmark sign natin para masabing si patient may hypocalcemia? First, you have your Chvostek sign. Paano ulit natin ina-assess si Chvostek? This is assessed by tapping the cheeks. Tama? Pag tinatap yung cheek at nag-twitch ang mukha, okay, that is positive Chvostek sign. Next, you have your Trousseau or your Trousseau sign. However you want to pronounce that. Okay? Your Trousseau sign, this is elicited or assessed by nag-inflate tayo, naglalagay tayo ng BP cuff kay patient. Pag in-inflate nyo yan at nakita ninyong nag-twitch or biglang nag-flex yung kamay ng patient, that is positive Trousseau's sign. Okay, now, actually, there are other more manifestations in renal failure. But, yung iba kasi dyan, makikita na natin pag diniscuss ko na ang chronic kidney disease, okay, or CKD. Okay, since this is acute kidney injury, ito muna yung mga ilalagay natin. Okay, now, that's only the oliguric stage. Pag hindi makaihi si patient. So, what is the next stage? Your next stage is referred to as the diuresis stage. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng diuresis stage? Okay, this is when there is excessive urination, okay, or large volume of urine. Okay, dito yung time na si patient ihi ng ihi. Their urine output could reach 2 to 4 liters per day. Okay, diuresis stage. Your patient is urinating. Bakit? Okay, bakit ihi ng ihi si patient? Okay, this means during diuresis stage that the kidney is on the way to recovery. Ibig sabihin si kidney, pagaling na siya. So, during diuresis stage, it's a sign, okay, na si kidney nagre-regain na siya ng function. Okay, so, bakit ngayon siya nag-diuresis or bakit siya ihi ng ihi? It is because everyone, during oliguric stage, syempre naipon na lahat ng dumi. Okay, during oliguric stage. So, once your kidney begins to regain its function, okay, magki-keep up yan by excreting, trying to excrete everything. Okay, yung na-accumulate na fluid, yung na-accumulate na dumi, susubukan ng kidney mong ilabas lahat yan. Okay, kaya nagkakaroon ng diuresis stage. But take note, abnormal pa rin po ang GFR, abnormal pa rin yung iba nating lab values. Okay, nagsistart pa lang naman kasi si kidney gumaling on the way to recovery. But the kidney has not yet fully recovered. Okay, diuresis stage. Pag po nagamot natin si AKI, si kidney pupunta sa diuresis stage and then finally recovery stage. Okay? Pag recovery stage, okay, normal na po si GFR. Normal na si kidney. Your recovery stage could take up to years, okay? Up to years. A couple of months up to years bago mag-recovery. Okay? So, pag si AKI nagamot, recovery. Okay? Pag hindi nagamot, AKI can lead to CKD. Okay, now let's proceed to the different management. Ano ang management for patients with AKI? Of course, number 1, you have fluid restriction or limit fluid intake. Bakit? Swelling na nga ang pasyente natin. Lunod na siya sa fluid. So, you have to restrict fluid. Next, you have to decrease sodium or sodium restriction. Bakit? Okay? Pag nag-sodium ang patient, anong sabi natin? Where sodium goes, water follows. So, pag asin pa ng asin ng pasyente natin, the more na maghahatak ng fluid yung asin na ini-intake ng patient. What else? You have decrease or limit protein intake. But immediately, guys, okay, talagang tinatanggal muna ang protein intake ng patient immediately. Okay, kasi nga, para hindi na madagdagan yung BUN at yung CREA ng patient natin. Okay, so you have to limit protein intake. What else? Strict monitoring of intake and output or INOs. Strict monitoring of INOs. What else you have? Daily weights. Ano ulit yung mga rules natin sa daily weights? Okay, kailangan same patient, syempre, same time, same clothing, and same weighing scale. Okay, when you say clothing, not necessarily na kung ano yung suot ko ngayon, bukas suot ko ulit, sa susunod na araw, suot ko ulit. Ang ibig sabihin lang yan, guys, is same yung clothing material. So, for example, kung si patient, today nagkilo ka, naka-cotton siya, the next day, pag nagkilo ulit, cotton ulit. Hindi pwedeng today naka-cotton, tas bukas naka-hard denim ang pasyente. Okay, talagang possible na magkaroon ng change sa weight. And sa time, guys, usually this is done in the morning. Okay, pag wala pang intake ang pasyente natin. Of course, monitor vital signs, lalong-lalo na blood pressure. Next, you have to monitor ECG. Siyempre, si patient, sabi natin, at risk sila for cardiac dysrhythmias or cardiac arrhythmias. Okay? Sometimes, they are prescribed with diuretics. Okay? Kasi hindi sila makaihi. Okay? So, we will try to give diuretics, of course, para matry na magpalabas ng fluid sa katawan. Okay? So, what else? Now, let's proceed dun sa mga mas medical. Okay? Mas medical na management. Let's add also pala. Okay? Alam naman na natin, okay, prioritize your patient safety. Pag meron na silang mental status changes, okay? Paano ulit mag-maintain ng safety? Raise side rails, assist in ambulation, provide proper lighting, mga ganon, okay? So, that's for promoting safety, okay? So, that's for your ito yung mga common na management. Now, let's proceed. Okay, dun sa hyperkalemia natin. For high potassium, the management here is regular insulin with dextrose. Bakit? Your insulin, guys, functions by reducing serum potassium. Ibig sabihin, pinapababa niya yung potassium sa dugo. Paano? Your insulin puts potassium from the blood inside of the cells. Okay? Dinadala ng insulin si potassium paloob ng cells para kumonti siya sa mismong dugo. Now, why do we provide dextrose? Siyempre, pag naka-insulin si patient, hindi lang naman si potassium ang papakialaman yan. Siyempre, pati si glucose. So, the patient is at risk for developing hypoglycemia. So, to prevent hypoglycemia, we provide dextrose because dextrose has glucose. Okay, next you have for hyperphosphatemia. Okay? Anong gagawin dito? Gagamit tayo ng phosphorus binding agents. What are your phosphorus binding agents? Example, you have your calcium acetate. Ano bang ginagawa ng phosphorus binding agents? Okay? They are used. Ang ginagawa niyan, nagbabind sila sa phosphorus and they will help in excreting that phosphorus via feces. Okay? So, itatae yung phosphorus. So, your phosphorus binding agents are best given with meals. Okay? Or immediately before meals or immediately after meals. Kasi, basta maisama siya sa pagkain. Kasi magbabind sila sa phosphorus at ilalabas sa tae. Okay, so best given with meals, immediately before meals, or immediately after meals. Okay, and then pwede rin tayong magbigay ng calcium gluconate for patients with hypocalcemia. And actually guys, your calcium gluconate could also be used for hyperkalemia. But take note, your calcium gluconate hindi siya directly nagpapababa ng potassium. Anong ginagawa niya? It helps in maintaining or regulating yung contraction ng heart. Okay, kapag may, di ba, risk for dysrhythmias ang patient na may hyperkalemia, okay, we'll give them calcium gluconate to help stabilize heart contractions. Okay? So, these are for your electrolytes. And of course, yung mga patient natin, pwede silang mag-undergo ng temporary dialysis. Okay? Temporary dialysis. Guys, dialysis is not always permanent. Okay? Not always permanent. But, and of course, syempre, anong pinakagagawin? We have to treat excuse me, underlying cause. Okay? Kung ano yung naging problema na nag-cause ng AKI, kailangan siyang gamutin. For example, if the patient may infection, pwede natin siyang bigyan ng antibiotics. Okay? Yun yung sinasabi natin. Treat underlying cause. Gamutin natin yung nag-cause ng AKI para gumaling din yung AKI. Kasi, pag gumaling from oliguric stage, pupunta siya ng diuresis into recovery. Pag hindi siya nagamot, ang AKI pwedeng mag-lead into CKD.